Hi, welcome back to Burning River Bushcraft. Today we're going to be installing a Dangler modification to my Skookum neck sheath. So my favorite knife is the Skookum bush tool. Absolutely love it. It's been inspired by Morskehansky. Comes with a Scandinavian style heavy leather neck sheath. So this is a center seam. It's got a cool mold to it. Always worn around your neck. Sometimes I do love neck carry, especially if I've got collar on specifically. If I'm not wearing a collar, it's not as comfortable. If I've got longer garments on, a coat, anything like that, it's just hard to get the knife in and out. So that's when a neck carry really shines. But there's some times that a neck carry is just an annoyance. If I'm traveling through thick brush, if I'm doing something, chopping wood, doing something crafting where I'm constantly been over working, setting traps, a neck sheath is just a pain in the butt. I'll tuck it into my shirt sometimes, I'll tuck it into my pocket, but there are times that I choose a different style knife just because I don't want to have to deal with neck carry all the time. So I found a product on Instagram made by Tiffany Goodwin that converts the Skookum bush tool into a Dangler. So I went ahead and got one. Now I am a fan of all knives that even resemble the Skookum bush tool. This is pretty much my ideal knife for wilderness living. You know, it's about a palm size blade, about a palm size handle, and there's several people that has taken this style knife and ran with it. You know, one of those persons is Brian Sargent. His knives are very much inspired by Morskehansky, and the sheath is very similar. So that's the one thing when I was on the Skookum wait list for so long, I was looking for similar knives, and Brian Sargent's knives kept popping up as catching my eye that looks very similar. So I did just find out that all of Brian's sheaths are made by his wife Tiffany. She makes them in standard neck styles, just exactly like a Skookum, and she does install the Dangler right from the get-go. So I contacted her, ordered one, and I'm going to be installing that today. So here's a better look at the Skookum and the Skookum sheath. And you can see how the piece that attaches to the neck lanyard is actually woven in and out. So it's kind of a very unique sheath. Definitely adds to the lore of the Skookum knife, and I absolutely love it. I do neck carry. I do prefer to neck carry most of the time, but there is times that I really want to belt carry this thing, and that's where Tiffany's Dangler comes into place. Here's the sheath with the strap just removed, and on the Dangler itself you can maybe see there's just indents where a suggested hole would be. There's no holes punched in this thing yet. It's going to be really hard to see. Right there, you can see. So it's kind of suggested, but it's not punched yet because of the variance from these handmade sheaths. You never know exactly where the holes are going to be. But it's going to end up, you know, making a sandwich kind of like this. So right now I have the Dangler portion opened up, and I'm going to set this with there's a screw slot here, and this side's smooth like a rivet. So I'm going to have the rivet facing out. So this is going to be the back side, this is going to be leaning against me, this is going to be the inside of the sheath. And then with the back of the sheath matching up against the Dangler like this, I'm going to match this radius. Now this might be something unique to Tiffany's style of sheath that the Skookum does not have. You see how this doesn't quite line up exactly. I'm going to go inside the sheath a little bit just to catch my top radius. So it's going to sit like this. Both sides are smooth. Now at this point, I'm going to take my awl and I'm going to mark center of each hole. Alright, so it's going to be a little hard to see here, but I do have my holes just a scratch mark basically. So I'm going to start to open these up with the awl. And the suggested holes that she punched, they are pretty much right on. This one's dead center, This one's just a little bit off, but that could be a variance in either the leather sheath or just the way I saw center. So I'm going to go ahead and open these up closer to full diameter, checking it continuously and making sure that I don't make it too big. Alright, so this style awl, it's making pretty nice, neat, round holes. And as I check it, I need to go out with the hole a little bit more. So I need to bring it out more this way. So this awl basically cuts on one side. So in that case, I'm only going to ream it in the direction I'm trying to get it to go. So again, stopping and checking it often. I got one side through. I got a nice even radius right here. And the second hole is about where I want it. So it's all good. Alright, so here is the back of the Chicago screws through the dangler. And you'll see they're both lined up. Nice smooth ends on both sides. And then when I take this apart, you see what I've got. And any inconsistency in the hole is just the way the leather lines up. Nice round holes from the Swiss Army knife awl. Now we're just going to do the other side. Alright, so both holes are lined up. It's all good. Now I'm going to match the rivet side of the Chicago screw and the slot side of the Chicago screw the same top and bottom. So I'm going to make this the outside with the fold over the leather. This will be the inside. So I'll have a slot screw here, slot screw here, slot screw on this side. And I'm going to go ahead and attach that to the sheath. Alright, so this is just put together dry for right now. This is a dry fit. And I'm just checking the edges. I can ream the holes either side on the dangler and adjust it if need be. But it's looking pretty good. Now this leather is in the path of the knife. So that's the other question. Is does it change the knife fit? Not really. So it actually fits into the contour of the knife like it was designed to. Pretty slick. Okay, so hold on, we're not done yet. So I have taken a sheath that hangs from a piece of leather or 5/50 cord around my neck. Morris is big into that, so you're always aware of the knife. The knife's always in your way, essentially, so you continually know that it's there. And I am transferring it down to my belt. So that's not a big deal. Everybody carries a knife on their belt, but the fact that I just screwed this together, that is an opportunity to lose your knife. So to counteract that, I'm going to be applying some thread locker to the threads on the Chicago screws. So this is all just a dry fit right now. It's tight. I like it like it is. I am using blue Loctite, so this is removable thread locker. If I was using red Loctite, that's considered permanent, and the only really way you're going to break that thread sealant is with heat, and that's not going to be real cool for the leather sheath. So blue Loctite it is. I'm just going to be, now that I've established the fit, I'm going to take the threaded end of the Chicago screw out one at a time, apply a dab of blue thread locker, and then seal it up. Now just to be safe, I'm going to take the screw off of the dangler loop, which I did not attach. This came like this, and I'm going to give it a little dab of Loctite as well. Okay, now that did not have any Loctite at all on it, so I'm going to give it a little bit. And hit it. Alright, so to be honest, the whole point of a Skookum is the neck dangler. It's the coolest part of the knife itself. You know, to have that Skookum, that awesome looking sheath around your neck that makes feather sticks easier to carve. It makes fires pop up when you walk through the woods. It's just plain cool. However, for me, there are times that I prefer to wear a knife on my belt. And so if you're like me in certain situations, you wish you could set up your Skookum sheath as a dangler, or if you're like me and you just love this style sheath, you know, give Tiffany a call. I hooked up her on Instagram. So I've never set up a link to Instagram before, but I will have her Instagram account in the description for the video. So if you are after a dangler for your Skookum, or if you want a Skookum sheath like this, she makes a very, very similar sheath. And judging by just the dangler attachment, the leather works awesome. So until next time, this has been Jamie Boggs with Burning River Bushcraft. See you soon.